Hey folks, this is Nick McPhee again, and I'm going to be talking about how to use the setMediaPath tool in JES to help you specify both where you're going to read files from, and more importantly, perhaps at the moment, where files are going to be written to so that you can find them again later. I'm going to use as an example a little program I wrote to manipulate this picture. In particular, I wanted to manipulate the clouds in this picture. So in the Image Explorer, I spent some time looking at pixels in the clouds, and I came to the conclusion that the cloud pixels tended to be have values of red that were at least 50, but less than 200, and green that was at least 100, and blue that was at least 180. And that's just from poking around in this picture. There's nothing magic about those numbers. I just poked around some, and it seemed to be the case that described the cloud picture pixels, and that it was different from these very white pixels in the building where everything is actually well above 200. So I was trying to figure out how to describe these pixels as distinct from the building pixels, and this set of conditions seemed to do the right thing. And so basically for all of those pixels, I increased the amount of red by 50%, and then brought it back down to 255 if that multiplying by 1.5 took it over 255. And I reduced the amount of green a little bit so that the resulting pixels would be more red and blue and give me a more purple, pinky kind of color. So now, at this point, I could save and load, and I could load up my picture, but there's always this question of well, where is the picture coming from? And I can use pick a file to go say where the picture's coming from. But sometimes I want programs to be able to address a location specifically where the picture is, but I want that to work on other people's computers too, assuming that they have the same pictures in some, location. So I can use setMediaPath, and if I choose that, it asks me to choose a location, and this has to be a folder. It can't be a file. And this is going to be the location where I want to read things, but it will also affect where things get written. So I'm actually, in this case, going to go up to my 1201 folder, and I'm going to choose my images, and I'm going to say choose down here. I don't want to open this and go into it because now I can't choose anything, but I want to, back up. I want to select this and choose it. And now it gives me the path to that, the full path to that directory. So my images inside my 1201 folder, inside my home directory, inside the users directory on my Mac. If you're using a Windows box, you're getting a different sort of path. It'll probably start C:, some stuff, but something like this should happen on pretty much every machine. Now I can use that to say where I want to get images from. So I could say picture, we'll say picture, I can't spell, picture equals make picture, and instead of saying pick a file, I can actually just provide a file name. And the name of this file is dogstuhl.jpg. Dogstuhl is the name of the German manor house where this picture was taken. You don't care. So now instead of picking a file and then going through and finding this picture, I was able to say exactly where I wanted that picture to be, and it went and found it relative to the media path that I had set. So it found dogstuhl.jpg in the folder called My Images, in my 1201 directory, in my home directory, in the users directory. Okay. And now I can say show picture. And indeed, I get the same picture that's open in the Explorer over here. So nice old 17th, 18th century German manor house with a very nice blue sky in the background. Okay, so now I can apply my make purple clouds picture. And now if I say show picture, lo, I got some pretty nice pinky purpley clouds. It did affect the windows up here a little bit, but other than that, oh, and I guess there are slight sections here that were of the right brightness that we got a little bit of pink here. Those are probably like window cranks. And we've got a little bit of pink here in this window, but in general, it only affected the clouds, and that's nice. It didn't catch all the clouds, sort of this balancing act of the more I got here, the more I would also be picking up in other places. But this does a pretty nice job of giving me the sort of purple cloud effect that I wanted. Now, I want to save this. And how do I do that? And importantly, where is it going to go? And if you don't use setMediaPath, it can be difficult to figure out where the picture went when you write it out. But if you've used setMediaPath first, then it will put it in whatever folder you specified in setMediaPath. So if I write picture here, it will write it to this folder and I'll be able to go find it. So there's a JES function, write picture to, that takes a picture, which in this case is our picture, and a place where we want it to go. And if we use the getMediaPath command and we give it a file name here, so let's say Dogstuhl purple clouds.jpg. This getMediaPath will take this and tack it onto the end of whatever the setMediaPath was set to, and that will, in this case, ensure that this picture will be written to a file with this name in this folder or directory. So if I go look in my images folder, I should see a file called Dogstuhl purple clouds that will have the desired picture. So I'll go ahead and do that. And then an easy way to see that it's there is if we say, just pick a file, and we look at my images folder, we see that, in fact, there is a Dogstuhl purple clouds file that wasn't there before. And that will be the, that will be the one that we just created. And it will have the picture that we desire. If we wanted to see that, we could even say purple is make picture, pick a file. And we could select Dogstuhl purple clouds. And we could say show purple. And indeed, that is our picture with the purple clouds. So if you use setMediaPath, it will put, if you setMediaPath and then getMediaPath in write picture to, like I've done here, that will make sure that this file gets put in a place where you can find it. And without that, it can be really tricky to figure out where in the world your picture ended up. So hopefully that'll be helpful. Definitely ask me any questions. Thanks a lot, and we'll talk to you later.